Hello and welcome to Crucible of Words for yet more dedicated legacy action. And today we are playing our final league of the year. And it's our final deck of December. So we've gone all out for something very spicy. So, if you've been watching my channel, you'll know that I've been playing lots of Dark Depths based decks, trying to kill people with 2020s for December. Well, today we're not just trying to Dark Depths people, we're also playing Marit Lage's Slumber. Now this is a card from the Modern Horizons 2 set, I think, and it's a legendary snow enchantment for 1 and a blue. Whenever this card or another snow permanent enters the battlefield under your control, scry 1. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 10 or more snow permanents, sacrifice it and make Marit Lage, which is the 2020 that you get from Dark Depths. So we've got more ways of making Dark Depths than you could possibly want. So we have Dark Depths and Thespian stage, which is kind of like the standard package for depths. And then because we're playing this snow theme with the Marit Lage's Slumber, we've got a deck that's built around snow. So Dark Depths itself is a snow land, so that's definitely one of them. And our mana base, which I'd like to talk about first, we've got these snow-covered islands, snow-covered forests, we've got one snow-covered plains, and then we've got a bunch of fetch lands, and then we've got one of the come into play tap dual lands. So these are snow lands, they have both basic types, so they can fix our mana, but they will come in tapped. So we've only got a few of them. So we've got one Treeline, one Glacial Floodplain, and one Rimewood Falls. So we've got one of each to fetch. And we've got a bunch of Misty Rainforest and stuff like that to go find them. We do have one tropical island in the deck. Because our deck is base blue-green, sometimes we're going to need to be able to find a source that does both of them because we have all these colourless lands in our deck. So we might need to fetch this land off of our Misty Rainforest or whatever. So we've got one tropical island, and the rest of our lands that tap for mana are snow, apart from the Thespian stage, which we can copy a snow land with, so it can be snow land for the purposes of Marit Lage's Slumber. Unsurprisingly, we have 4 exploration in the deck. These allow us to sometimes just turn 2 people, making the 2020 off of the Thespian stage. This will also help us keep playing out more snow permanents. So if we team this up with the Life from the Loam that we have, we can maybe get a lot of snow permanents out and get our Marit Lage's Slumber to pop off. Then we've got these Ice-Fang Coatls. These are pretty standard. You see them a lot in Legacy. Being able to trade with stuff is going to happen a lot because we have a lot of snow permanents. These are always going to have Death Touch pretty much, and they cantrip, and they are also cards that pitch to Force of Vigor in the sideboard and Force of Will in the main deck. So these are pretty important. We've got a few pieces that you'd expect to see in any blue deck. We've got our 4 Force of Will, our 4 Brainstorm to keep us alive and fix our hand and stuff. And now the big card that's hopefully going to be doing work this league is Glacial Revelation. So this is 2 and a green sorcery. You reveal the top 6 cards of your library. You may put any number of snow permanent cards from among them into your hand and the rest in your graveyard. So what we want to be doing is casting this, and if the top 6 cards, we're probably going to be drawing 2 to 3 cards on average, about 3 cards on average. Our deck is like 50% snow, so we should be drawing like a decent amount of cards off of this. But if this flips over a Life from the Loam, it goes straight into our graveyard, which then we can dredge up and then get this Thespian stage, which is one of the other ones that Glacial Revelation doesn't hit. So we've kind of got like a little bit of, considerate deck building here where this can flip over the Life from the Loams and get us rolling in a different way. Now, we have to play some slightly questionable cards here in order to get this. Well, obviously, Marit Lage's Slumber is pretty questionable on its own. But we're going deep on this one. And we are playing this card that was bad and limited, but we're going to be playing it now. So this is called Frost Augur. It's just blue for a 1/2 snow creature. And it just has pay a snow mana and tap, look at the top card of your library. If it's snow, you can reveal it and draw it. And it is put into your hand, not draw it, actually. So that's sometimes relevant, things like Narsets and stuff. So because we've got so many hits for snow, like about 50% of this time, this is just going to pay 1, draw a card off of it. And because we're running Brainstorm, we can sometimes set it up so that we can guarantee the draws off of it. Now, I know this card isn't great, but we need snow permanents to make our Marit Lage work and also to make our Glacial Revelations better. Now, this one is 1 mana, so we can get on the board and do some stuff. It's blue, so we can pitch it to Force of Will to get rid of it, which is another thing we can do with Marit Lage's Slumber. And yeah, that's about it. If it sits on the board, we might be able to get a decent number of cards out of it. So I'm not expecting this card to be great, but I'm expecting it to be the best it's ever been as a card, because this card was pretty bad. So hopefully we can leverage it and get some people with Frost Augurs. Now we have this other card, which is actually pretty decent. So this is On Thin Ice. So this is just a single white mana. You enchant one of your snow lands, And then when this comes into play, you exile target creature and opponent controls until this leaves play. So this is just going to be like our Source to Plowshares replacement. It doesn't give them life, so it means our 2020 can still clock them in one hit. And we have a lot of snowlands, so we can just whack this on a basic. And it's going to be quite hard to remove unless they're running something like Prismatic Ending. But this is not really going to be that good in Prismatic Ending matchups anyway. But it's a 1-mana answer for like initiative creatures and things like that. So hopefully this will be quite good. And it's a removal spell that we can hit off of Glacial Revelation. And, you know, it's going to scry for 1 when it comes into play. That's the main deck. We don't have a lot of utility lands here. We just got some mana lands, really. And obviously our combo pieces. So we're not going to be able to sort of wiggle around and do like Wasteland locks with our Life from the Loam. So we are somewhat limited, but we are going hard to try and play this Marit Lage Slumber and really make 2020. So if we can make a 2020 off of this just once in the league, I think we'll be happy. Let's have a quick look at the sideboard. A few more removal spells just to help things along against the aggro decks. Obviously Ice-Fang Coatl is pretty removal spellish, so that's okay too. So we got a few more removal spells here. We have 4 Mindbreak Traps, so we can try and beat some of these combo decks. We just need more tools. So we already have Force of Will, but having some more impact from turn 0 is pretty good. And you're going to see a theme here. So we've got turn 0 interaction here, turn 0 interaction here, turn 0 interaction here, turn 0 interaction here. So we're basically just trying to shore up stuff so we can kind of carry on deploying our things, because we might be a little bit mana heavy in terms of what we're trying to invest in, because we're trying to play these and tap these, and we're trying to get our Ice-Fangs down and all that. So the idea is that we have these spells that are more or less free. Now, the more we board in, the worse our plan is going to be. So we didn't want to board too heavy on a lot of matchups. There was this Yeti card from the recent Unfinity set, I think it's called, that's not online yet. It's like a 5-mana Yeti that lets you cast snow stuff from the top of your library. I really want to play that in this deck, but that's not on Magic Online yet, unfortunately. But that would have had a slot somewhere. But so what I really want to do is, I don't want to board too many cards out, but when we're playing against decks that just go so quickly under us, we're going to need a lot of like 0 mana answers. So this is kind of the deck building idea here. There's other things you could do. I did have an idea of a heavier white build that used the tutor, the 2 and a white. You tutor for a saga, a legend, or a snow permanent, and you get life equal to the amount of snow mana you paid to cast it. I was thinking about running some of that, but it's very slow. And ideally you'd want something like Ancient Tomb, so it's not as expensive, but I didn't think that was where I wanted to go with this. And the other option you can do with this deck is go down the black route. So there's a 3-mana sorcery that minus X is everything, where X is the number of snow color permanents you have, which I thought was quite a good one. But if we're trying to get Marit Lage's Slumber off, which is kind of what we'd like to do today, having permanents that sit in play is just going to be better for us. So we're just going to try and see if we can ramp out enough permanents and get 2020 this way. And we don't really have protection for our 2020, because what we're aiming to do is maybe force it through a few times using Life from the Loam. So we don't really have much in the way of backup win conditions here. So these little guys aren't really going to get it done. So we're kind of on 2020s or bust, but we have different ways of making them. So we can make them around wastelands using this guy. So yeah, I'm not expecting this deck to be good, but it's the spiciest thing I could brew for the last day of December on it. And I thought it'd be nice and festive in this cold winter to play a snow deck. So why not? And we might find some like random like jewels in the rough here. We might find something that we go, oh, actually, that's a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Maybe there's something in that if you strip out all the bad stuff. Anyway, that's more or less it. So this is going to be the last league that I'm running for this year. And I hope you all enjoy it. And if you do, like and subscribe. Even if you don't like and subscribe, why not? It helps me out. Okay, so let's jump into this final league of December and 2020 with Snow Depths. Okay, we're on the play for round 1. We have these Ice-Fangs, but we're going to need a little bit more work from them. From our deck. We're going to need another mana source in order to get them to stick. However, we do have the ability to Marit Lage's Slumber on 2. Is this going to be good enough? Because we actually have a Dark Depths combo in hand, I think we can probably keep this one. It's not great, but our deck's not great, so what do you expect? Our opponent's mulligan to 5 cards. So if they're looking for something specific in that mulligan, so they're like a combo deck, then we're in trouble. If they've just sort of got a bit unlucky, then maybe we'll be okay. I'm not very confident in how our turn's going to pan out, how this game's going to pan out. But we have a lot of sideboard cards for these decks, if they are a combo deck. I'm just assuming because they've multiplied that they're looking for specific parts rather than just a keepable hand. Chromox. Okay, that's step 1. Is this going to be initiative? Might be a little bit challenging for us to race a turn 1 white plume. That looks like a seasoned dungeoneer. Yep, so we're looking at the initiative. So, Archon of Emeria. Each player can't cast one spell each turn. Non-basic land your opponent's control when the battlefield tapped. Okay, so that's going to be a little bit awkward for us. But our opponent is not a wasteland deck, which is good to know. So end of turn we will go and get one of our tap lands anyway. So our tap lands are just as good as Trops at this point, so that's interesting. We need to make sure we get the right one here. We want Rimewood Falls, because this is our green-blue source. Our opponent's probably going to be a little confused as to what we're doing, which is understandable. So let's have a look. So this land is going to come in tapped. At least our opponent has only got the Archon in play right now. But if they're putting a seasoned dungeoneer underneath Chromox, I have to imagine they've got some other threats kicking around. It's just another seasoned dungeoneer. It is. Okay. So this is a very difficult card for us to beat because our Ice-Fangs will not be able to block. So we're going to struggle in this matchup, I think. Like, it's one of the tier 1 decks in the format at the moment. So it doesn't give you a lot of wiggle room, unfortunately. And it's not like you can just play Leyline against it like you can with Delver and just sort of cheese them a little bit. Okay. What are we going to draw? A card that we can't really do anything with. So we're going to cast this and we're going to have a little scry off of it and see, like, we're probably just playing our Dark Depths out anyway, but we're taking 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, possibly 8 next turn. So let's have a scry. Kind of need a basic here. This is going to take 2 turns to do anything. I think we have to put it on the bottom and try and find a basic here, as bad as that sounds. Okay, so we get another scry. Life from the Loam. I don't think we can have that. I think that's too slow to be messing around with right now. Gonna be a tough one, but next game along we at least get to have some more removal in our deck. Yep, so this is 7, possibly 8. Cavern Soul, so it's just a 7. So if they don't have another threat, we're still dead because of the trap. So, Misty Rainforest. So this is the one that wasn't good enough last time. So if we play this out, it comes in tapped, and then we just die. So yeah, I think we have to concede this one and save our time. Alright. Not great would be how I describe that one. So we've got these 3 Swords of Plowshares we want to be bringing in. Weirdly, I quite like the Frost Augur here just because it's a guy and it might be able to attack and do something. If we can remove a guy, we can then steal the initiative. So I think we need to keep our creatures in. Now, the obvious thing to remove here would be Marit Lage Slumber because they're not very good. But I think we have to stick to the plan a little bit here. So I think we're looking more like... We don't want to board out our blue card, actually. Thinking more of boarding out our Loams and just trying to win with our plows here and this sort of leverage stuff. But I think maybe we do need 1 Loam in. I think we're trimming one of our Slumbers because they're quite slow to go off. So I think we're going to submit like this. Like, this is obviously going to be a difficult matchup. They're a very quick aggro deck that has really good disruption for what we're doing. So what does this hand give us? So we can turn 1 Frost Augur, turn 2 Brainstorm into a land. Or we can turn 1 Brainstorm, Force of Will. We kind of need another mana source, really. I don't want to Brainstorm on turn 1. This hand is really close. It does need a Force and more mana. I think we should mulligan this one. Like, we have 2 removal spells that we can cast. So I guess we're keeping this one. And what do we throw back? I kind of want to keep the Dark Depths purely because we're going to need it to win the game. And we're not going to have all the time in the world. Which means we're probably dropping the snow-covered island here. So we go Glacial Floodplain on 1. Turn 2, we can Thin Ice Tropical Island. Our opponent's mull to 5, so maybe we can deal with the initial threat and then be alright. Mulligan to 4. Okay, maybe we're okay. Now, the initiative does a lot of work in terms of peeling back mulligans because you immediately get a card, and if it stays in play for a couple of turns, you get another card, and if they can get another guy, etc, etc. So it does a lot of work to undo mulligans. Okay, so we're just going to play a good old-fashioned Glacial Floodplain. Nothing broken here, just playing some little cards out. No creature. Interesting. So this is probably a turn 2 play off of an Ancient Tomb or something. So we want to save our fetch land here in case we draw into a Brainstorm. So we're going to play out this Frost Augur. Our opponent is probably reading this card right now because they're thinking, what is our opponent doing? Why are they spending their time playing these bad cards? The things we do for content, right? Okay, so it's our opponent's turn. They're almost certainly going to have a play this turn. I suspect this Frost Augur isn't good enough to get a removal spell, but I could be wrong. Really? Okay. Frost Augur getting ploughed. I'll take it. That's 1 less plough to be pointed at our 2020 if we can draw a Thespian stage. Lotus Petal. And no play, interesting. Well, if the last Frost Augur was good, you're going to like this one. Okay. Maybe our opponent just kept stuff to like deal with Marit Lage, but they didn't have a second land. They did mulligan very deep though. Okay, let's see what we have. An Elite Spellbinder. Sure, so we can deal with this one. So I think at end of turn we're going to fetch one of our come into play tapped lands off of our Windswept Heath just to make sure that it's not a draw that we have later on. Now we can keep this for a Brainstorm, but I think just having good mana that's also going to be snow. Okay, so on thin ice. Yep, that's what we were expecting to happen. Okay, they've just conceded because they mulliganed so hard and they know we've got removal. Interesting. So, do we want to change anything here? I don't think so. Got all of our blue pips for our Force of Will. I don't think we need Force of Negation. Like, we can play Force of Negation just as a way to dealing of, like, hitting their first, like, Chrome Mox or something, which can really jam them up. So maybe we'll run one of those over the Life from the Loam. Give that a go. Like, Mindbreak Trap can sometimes do stuff as well, but I'm not really convinced that it's ever going to do enough here. Yeah, we're a Dark Depths away from a 2020. We have Force of Will protection. This can scry us towards our Dark Depths. Yeah, I think we keep this one. Our opponent is kept on 7, so we're probably dead though. No play on turn 1 from our opponent there. Interesting. Okay, Brainstorm is very good for us here. I think we will go and get a Snow-Covered Forest for our exploration, and then follow up with our Flooded Strand. And there we go. I have to imagine our opponent's going to go Ancient Tomb, White Plume this turn. That would be the most likely play for keeping a hand like this. Okay, they might just be going all the way out for Seasoned Dungeoneer. Seasoned Dungeoneer, as expected. So, do we just... Like, we're going to have to crack this to cast our Brainstorm anyway. So I think we probably just Brainstorm so we get a bit more information. So let's cast this. Okay, so we have a Plough, we have a Rainforest, we have the Glacial Revelation. So I quite like where we're at here. What do we not really want here? I don't think... We're going to draw one of these, so only one of these cards is going away. Although we can just draw them all, can't we? If we put this on top, and then this, for example. We feel the need to scry. So we will hit this one. Buy us another turn. So there's the Plough. So if we want the Dark Depths on top, we can play the Thespian stage first. Before we can play the Thespian stage and then Glacial Revelation. I think that's what I would like to do here. Go guys at Glacial Revelation. Okay, so we did not find the Dark Depths. Interesting. So we can play this out. We can hold up a Source of Plowshares, or we can just play out our Frost Augur, and then we can plow and steal the initiative if they play an initiative creature. I quite like. Although we need the white source is the only issue if we want to do that. That is a tricky choice. We're probably getting the Glacial Floodplain here. I don't think we can chance the... I don't think we can chance just trying to draw a white source there. So I have to imagine our opponent's going to have another follow-up threat here. So I can just play a land and another Dungeoneer. City of Traitors. Okay. So I can play any of the threats in their deck at this point. Touch the Spirit Realm. This is weird. This does not hit enchantments. I'm not sure what our opponent's doing here. I think our opponent's pretty new to the deck. That was a weird play to me. That's an answer to a Marit Lage token. Okay, so they've just conceded the match. Well, we've got to win against initiative, so there is that. This is just a pretty serviceable sort of Landsy style hand. We can exploration and have a Brainstorm up. Yeah, I think this is good. We just keep this. We're just sort of playing pretty normal legacy here. All of these cards, apart from this, are all pretty standard legacy cards. Chromox. Okay, so we're looking at possibly initiative again. It's the most common Chromox deck. Touch the Spirit Realm. Sure, so our opponent is playing initiative. Our Force of Will's not going to work out for us here. Thalia. Yeah, so that's going to be a little bit awkward. That's going to slow down what we're doing. So we're probably looking at playing this Misty Rainforest this turn, using it to get a one of our tapped lands, and then the turn after we can deploy the exploration for 2 and then ramp a little bit. Now this could be a White Plume, and then they're just going to put us in the dirt in a couple of turns. Okay, our opponent's going to see our hand and be a little bit flexed, but we'll see. So they've named exploration, so we're not going to get to exploration next turn, which is a pity. It's going to cost 2 more. So what are we doing here? We're probably looking at green-blue or green-white. Probably green-white just in case you draw the removal, so... Or is it blue-white? I think it's blue-white, actually. Let's get the floodplain out. Let's see what we have next. So we have the plains. So this costs 4 mana now, so that's a lot. But we can Brainstorm and try and fix our hand up a little bit here. But it will cost us 2 mana to do. So probably playing this, taking a hit for 5. Although we can crack this for a green source now and try and Brainstorm into a removal spell on our turn. I guess it depends how much damage we're taking. Like this is 5. If they have a follow-up threat, we don't have time to pass the turn and try and get a maximum power Brainstorm here. We just have to do an end of turn 1 and try and find... Okay, Caracas. That's going to be pretty hard for us to beat. In fact, it's going to be almost impossible for us to beat. But there we go. So this just probably gets a snow-covered forest. And we'll Brainstorm end of turn. Yes, Caracas is certainly a thing that we are weak to. Okay, so none of these cards do anything that we want. We can't cast Glacial Revelation next turn. We can cast Life in the Loam, but I don't think that's going to get us anywhere. Yikes. And not really beating the Caracas either. Jesus. I guess we get rid of the Exploration and the Dark Depths, we just draw for the turn. So I think we are on playing a fetch land, and then we'll Brainstorm now. We do know one of the top cards, but this... Okay, so On Thin Ice is a pretty good draw for us, except our Plains is in the deck. Ugh. Okay, so the Exploration goes, and... Wait, no, if we put the Snow-Covered Plains back... Yeah, this is good. We can't get the... Actually, we can't get the Plains anyway, because we need to pay 2 for this, so we just have to take the hit, don't we? Yikes, okay. Common to play tap lands versus Thalia when you're trying to cast instants and sorceries and enchantments and things. Not really where you want to be. So we're going to take another 5 here at minimum. We could take 6 if they've got a Seasoned Dungeoneer. Cleric. Is this... Okay, this looks like Seasoned Dungeoneer mana. Yep. So we could be taking up to 6 this turn, depending on how their exploration goes. So our plan for next turn is Ice-Fang plus On Thin Ice. So we have to get rid of the Seasoned Dungeoneer, I think, which is annoying, but it'll have to do. Yikes. This is going to be an incredibly difficult game to win. Borderline impossible, because you don't really have answers to Caracas. So, if we go and get... do you want green-blue? We've got the white source already. Yeah, we'll get green-blue, I think, On Thin Ice. So we can... I think we're going to enchant, and we'll pay with... actually, let's just make our... Let's crack this and make our snake first. This can only get basic, so this is going to get our green-blue. So that's our snake mana, actually. And then we, On Thin Ice, put it on here. And we tap this one and this. It's on here. We exile the Seasoned Dungeoneer. This is the one that gives them unblockability because it gives them protection from creatures. So this turn they're going to Forge. And if they put the counters on the Thalia, we lose the game. But they might not do. We're doing a lot of work just to probably die. Okay, they've put the counters there. I think we just can see. Well, let's see if they tap both of them. It seems very unlikely that they won't. Sure. So this is why I wanted one of the reasons I wanted the Yeti in there. Although he is a legend as well, so that probably wouldn't be having it too much. So last time we put in these Swords to Plowshares and a Force of Negation in favour of some Life from the Loams and a Marit Lage's Slumber. We just need to hope they don't have Caracas, really. It's kind of awkward that we built our deck in a fashion where it's not very good to Caracas, but that's what happens when you try and play little meme decks sometimes. Okay, so we have a counter spell for the first thing, a removal spell for the second one, and then we have a 20/20. So as long as our opponent, famous last words, as long as our opponent doesn't have Caracas, we'll be okay. Arctic Treeline, get this in tapped. Brainstorm can pitch the Force of Will. It depends what sort of threat they actually produce, because we don't care about Thalia. Okay, they're not producing a threat at all. Interesting. That is interesting. Thespian stage. I think we play this Vista out. We don't want to use our Brainstorm to look for a blue card. That's a fool's errand when we already have a perfectly good blue card in Brainstorm in terms of pitching to Force of Will. But now I think we're in an okay spot as long as our opponent doesn't have a... It's Archon of Emeria. This is one that we can just kill. We don't need to crack this now. Okay, another Thespian stage. So we're on the... Again, there's no point looking for a blue card because we already have one. We don't want to... If we cast this and don't find any blue cards, then our shields are down. We need our opponent to not play a Caracas. They play like 2 Caracas. I think we beat this White Plume, so we're going to let this one land. We're now saving our Force of Will to protect our 20/20. We're just going to crack this now. And we definitely need a blue source. We might not need the blue source. We might need to cast any spells this game other than the free one. We'll see. Sure, you can untap your adventure. Then we have Arthur. Oh my god, I played the wrong land there, haven't I? What am I doing? I have misclicked my way into losing this game, maybe. Yikes. Okay, so we have the Ice-Fang. That's something we can do here. Oh my god. I'm so sorry about that. What a misclick. Sure. So they're going to forge their guy. We can kill it with an Ice-Fang if we want to. If our opponent drops a Caracas this turn, that'd be annoying. Or the next turn would be even more annoying, I guess. Blue and green. This could get a Force of Will off of our opponent. Not Force of Will, a Solitude or something off of our opponent. So they still have the Undercity ticking up, but we've at least forced them down the Forge side, and they're... oh, we don't have Death Touch, do we? What are we doing? Yeah. Sorry, this playing game is a little bit shabby from me here. So they're going to name Thespian stage with their Anointed Peacekeeper, and we're going to lose the game because we didn't do that. Oh my. Let's see what they name. They should just name... Yeah, there's a Thespian stage, sure. Yeah, we played this game horribly and deserved to lose. We made 2 separate misplays. I don't think the Ice-Fang's so much of a misplay. I think we keep that back and steal the initiative with it. It's probably fine. Source to Plowshares. So that's fine for us, isn't it? This plows this, and then we get to make our 2020. Do we want to make it in combat? Our opponent has Solitude mana, so we probably don't want to do that. So I take 5, and then I take another 5, and then 3, so that's another 8. Oh, yikes. So we plow this guy, save ourselves some damage. Our opponent's got 6 cards in hand, so the chance of them being able to interact with our 2020 are a bit higher than I would like. Elite Spellbinder. This is interesting because this takes our force out of our hand. I think we should force this because this also is a blocker for a turn. Now, this could just be a bait so that they can get their Source to Plowshares on our guy, but we don't really have the luxury right now of playing around that. We just touch the Spirit Realm. Looks like touch the Spirit Realm here. Sure, that's the annoying one. That's not what we can Force of Will anyway, so back to us. We can do another Dark Depths, and we can also Glacial Revelation into one. Now, we don't have a lot of time to do this. Again, our mana base is a little bit wonky, so are we supposed to cast this Misty Rainforest first? Because this can't get white mana. I think we're supposed to play this first, and then use this to get a green source, and then leave our Arctic Treeline up in case we draw a removal spell. So these aren't removal spells, as you may have noticed. So our opponent's going to smash us up for 5 next turn and put us to 2. So we're going to play a Frost Augur out as a chump blocker. But we played the Marit Lage Slumber out if we draw a blue source first. But our opponent is way ahead of us. We are playing a... But the mistake that we made didn't end up mattering because of the Touch the Spirit Realm, I don't think. Although they probably don't play out their Peacekeeper if we have the combo on board. So I don't know. It's an awkward one. I think it's still wrong, obviously. I'm just trying to work out how much it would have impacted the game. Athalia, sure. Okay, so I have 2 lethal threats now, and a Throne of the Dead 3 about to pop. So we're going to need something good here. And unfortunately, that's not really something our deck has a lot of. If we draw a Dark Depths, we can make a 2020, and we can make a Frost Augur, which is enough for what's on board right now. Okay, so we drew the thing that might be able to win us this game. So we'll take it. Our opponent still has 5 cards in hand. That's how gross the initiative feels. So it just kind of keeps doing its thing. So we can make a 2020 to block 1 creature. We can block the other with Frost Augur. So any removal spell kills us. Actually, is that true? Any removal spell? If we gain 1 life, the Thalia doesn't kill us. So not any removal spell. But Seasoned Dungeoneer kills us. Okay, so the Plow. This means that Thalia isn't lethal. But they can throw in the Dead 3. And if they find a Seasoned Dungeoneer, we die. So it's not looking great for us. What have you got? 10 cards are revealed. There is a Seasoned Dungeoneer there. Yeah, so we are just dead here. As long as they target the right one. Oh wait, they can't even target this, and they have to target the White Plume, right? Because this is the wrong creature type. Soldier, this has to be like the party types. Yeah, I think we are dead as long as our opponent doesn't make a horrible mistake. I'm just trying to think. Yeah, if we'd have played this game a little bit tighter, we'd have been alright. Well, actually, I'm not sure we would have been alright, but we would have been able to live a little bit longer. So let's see if our opponent makes a mistake and tries to plow our 2020 and give us some life and buy us another turn. Well, the game's over. Okay, so they've got plow as well on the next turn. We can't block because this has protection from creatures. So much for being a 2020 indestructible. So we are 1-1 against we won against an initiative player who made a lot of mistakes, and then we lost against initiative when we made mistakes. But I think our mistakes don't matter in this matchup, just the way the cards fell. I don't think it matters that much, but it was definitely not very tight play from me there. And this is sometimes what happens when you play a brew and you're thinking about all these other random things and what you've got in your deck and stuff. And you make mistakes when you're rushing, which you didn't need to be rushing. So that's on me. All right, let's go into the 3rd round and see if we can Marit Lage Slumber someone. Our opponent's playing a Yorion deck. We have a turn 2 2020, right? Turn 1, we get this for a green source, play Exploration, play Rimewood Falls, untap, play these 2, make a 2020. That'll do me. Like, it might not be good enough against the Yorion deck if they're like the white Yorion decks. And he's going to remove my stuff, then sure. Death and Taxes or whatever. They're going to have a lot of ways to interact with what we're trying to put down. Scrubland. Okay. Thoughtseize. So we're going to lose our Exploration, which is going to slow us down a lot. They might take one of the weird cards, because sometimes when you see weird cards, you take them because you don't quite know how they're going to fit into the game. Okay. So took our Exploration as we thought they would. So now what are we looking at doing here? Are we looking at getting Marit Lage's Slumber down? I think that's probably what we're doing here. So just playing the Rimewood Falls out. And then next turn we play the Slumber. And then the turn after we start getting a load of our scries in and improving our draws. Underground Seas. This is looking more like Esper Vial. It could be Esper Breakfast Esper Yorion breakfast. It's a thing, but we're looking at some sort of Esper Revile common to play creatures. Okay, so this turn, okay, so we can get our Slumber down, get a little Scry on, and then we've got Force of Will back up for something. This feels like a weird thing for our opponent to Force of Will, so I think it's just going to slide through. Brainstorm is an above average draw, for sure. Okay, we'll leave this on top. So we still have a fetch land as well, so we can Brainstorm, fetch away as well next turn. Now, I don't know how good our Dark Depths 2020 is going to be against our opponent's deck, because they're probably going to have some amount of Flickery Wisps, Sky Apparition type, Skyclave Apparition. And they do have a 1/1 blocker already, so we're going to have to get through that blocker perhaps. Might be a tough one, but they're all going to be tough ones today, so I need to focus really. Flicker Wisp. So this is going to draw them a card if they want it. Cantripping 3/1 Flyer. I think I'm actually just going to fire this off. This will give them 2 turns and it will dig them into their deck a bit more. It'll give them 2 turns of blocking. I don't really want that to happen. Like, we can just do the Life from the Loam plan as well. So I think we're going to start off with a good old-fashioned Brainstorm. Okay, so the Slumber is bad because you've already got one in play. Well, the Slumber is bad is probably just a better way of phrasing that. And then this Thespian stage can go as well because we already have one. And then we can play this one out. And this can go and get us a tapped land and scry. Or we can go and cast a Life from the Loam for 1 target now. I think we're probably better off just getting a tapped land. Probably getting a green-white land, I think. I suspect this guy's going to come in again. Yeah. Well, we need a lot of Elvish Spirit Guides to go off this turn. And crop rotation, so. Yorion to hand for our opponent. And we're going to get one of our tapped lands. So we wanted the green-white one, I think. Treeline. And we get to scry. Do we want this? No, we do not. What do we want? Maybe a Force of Will. Just keep things going. Let's scry this one. It's going on the bottom of the library. And we can pass. So I think we go for it now. Because they don't have any Ether Vials or anything, what's going to hit us is going to be a Solitude or a Source of Plowshare, so at least we're going to get some life off of it. And we can just Life from the Loam and rebuy it next turn anyway. Okay, let's see how our attack fares. I imagine it's just going to go and get blocked by this Baleful Strix, and then they might be able to cast a Flicker Wisp on their turn to blink it. Should be sad, but not wholly unexpected. So I think we're playing out the stage here. With Life from the Loam targeting our 3 lands. Since we do have good cards in the deck. Cool, Life from the Loam and Force of Will and Brainstorm. A main deck Force of Negation would be really annoying here because it exiles the Life from the Loam, and because it's a Yorion deck, it's not unexpected. Okay, this looks like just a regular Force of Will. And they picked the Yorion that was in their hand to do that. Okay, so we can just dredge that next turn unless they have a way of exiling our graveyard, which might prove difficult because they have to do that and deal with our 2020. So we're kind of doing right. Gilded Drake, you say? Wowzers Bowsers. Don't see that every day. Alrighty then. Not really what we wanted to see there, truth be told. Alright. Do we dredge this so we can make our own 2020 and we can just have bouncing off 2020s bouncing off each other? Or do we try and draw into our removal spell? I think we try and draw into the removal spell. Okay, that's a very good way to go about it. We might want to have the Ice-Fang in play this turn. It's tough out there, isn't it? I think we might need the Ice-Fang this turn though. So we can crack this for the other tap land. So we've only got 3 snow permanents right now, which is not quite the number I would like to have. So our opponent might waste a removal spell on this Gilded Drake to try and push through for lethal. God, Gilded Drake in the year of 2020. Incredible stuff. Okay, so they're cracking a Flooded Strand. They're cracking their Marsh Flats. So this looks like a hard cast Solitude. That's the vibe I'm getting, right? Recruiter of the Guard. So this could be a Recruiter of the Guard for the Solitude. Charming Prince. Okay. So they're just going to flicker their Recruiter of the Guard and draw some more cards. So this is just like a free roll. Oh, they're going to flicker this guy. As creature you own. Very rude. Very, very rude. And when does it come back? Next end step. Okay. Very rude indeed. Okay, so this is going to be green, blue. Let's get ourselves a card and a scry. So we put this one on the bottom. So this one goes on top, so we get a scry before we get to draw. This can go on the bottom of the library. If we dredge the Life from the Loam, we get to pay 2 to draw us this, and we get, so this has to go on the bottom. We can't dredge the Life from the Loam here. I think we just have to draw a card. Okay, so that wasn't one of the ones we needed. So this time we are priced into Glacial Revelationing, I think. First, we get to have a little look in our deck and see. Okay, so take out the last common to play tap land. Get ourselves a trigger. See if we can scry. That's 3 mana. I play 2. That has to go on the bottom. Gilded Drake, though. So this will sacrifice this time. It was just a removal spell, effectively. Because I don't have any creatures. So this goes away. This always beats me in cube as well. So, alright. So we're not replacing our draw. We're casting Glacial Revelation into things. So we want to play our Misty Rainforest first. Or do we? Yeah, we do want, because we want to get the scry just to make it more likely that we hit. So this will go and get us a basic forest, which will then scry. It's going to go on the bottom of our library. So we're looking at 1 green, and which of these does it matter? It doesn't really matter. They can all cast the Ice-Fang as well. Come on, deck. Okay, we get to draw 4 cards, including our combo pieces. Sure, I'll take that. So we cast this. We'll enchant our basic. Goodbye 2020. We also get to scry because this is a snow enchantment. And this can get rid of their 2020. And then we get to Marit Lage's Slumber again. Snow-covered plains. Do we care about that? No. We can put that on the bottom. Like an exploration now gets us pretty close to popping our Marit Lage's Slumber, which is something I would very much like to do, even though just making the 2020 with Thespian stage next turn is probably bad. You can't blame me. It's good content, right? Making Marit Lage's Slumber tokens. So we're going to take 3 this turn. Our opponent has 3 cards in hand. But we have Death Touchy Ice-Fangs, we have Glacial Revelation, we have Dark Depths. We're actually in a pretty good spot, as long as we don't get our creature stolen again. We don't actually need to dredge this because we already have it in hand. So we just, oh, that was the one we wanted to draw as well. Okay, so first we play this one out. This gets us a scry, a Brainstorm. Quite a nice one to keep on top, isn't it? Sure, so we'll have that one. So so these mana covers our Dark Depths. This covers our little Ice-Fang. So we can play out our exploration and then play out this other snow-covered forest. Get another scry. Oh, we are so close to getting this Marit Lage's Slumber off. We know this is still on there, so we will leave it on top of our library. So next turn we can just go and get 2 more basics out of our deck and get this to pop off if we want to. We have the Ice-Fang as well, actually, so we don't even need to make a 2020. Like, we're going to be making 2020. It's the correct play. We would like to win a game. Let's cast this for green and blue. Give us a snake. So we put the Ice-Fang on the bottom, so we get the scry first. We know what the top card is because it's a Brainstorm, but it's just good practice. So give me my Brainstorm. Then we can get a blocks. I think we want to block the Recruiter here, because if they've got another blink effect, this is going to just get them loads more card advantage and give them ways of dealing with our creatures. Now, if our opponent just drops a Caracas, then not sure how we win this game, but we'll see what our opponent's got here. This could just be a Flicker Wisp for a little bit of value and a blocker. A Skyclave Apparition. Or is this targeting? Our Marit Lage's Slumber. Sure. Sad, but not unexpected. So let's get ourselves a 2020. Not sure how many turns Cycle's going to live through, but we're getting it. We're getting 20 life. 20 life it is. Our turn. We will actually dredge the Life from Loam this turn. Do we need to Brainstorm first? I don't think we actually need the Brainstorm just yet. Let's get Dark Depths, Thespian stage, and I guess Misty Rainforest, because that's the one that finds all of our lands, isn't it? So we'll use our basics to pay, get ourselves some cards. We get to play 2 lands a turn. We'll play these 2020 making lands, and we'll say go. We can Brainstorm in an emergency if required. Now, whether or not we can do a lot with that Brainstorm, I'm not sure, but we can get rid of them with the Life from the Loam. So we do get to fix our hand a little bit, but our hand doesn't need fixing. All right. So sideboarding. I guess plows good, but a lot of our deck seems pretty good in this matchup, even without the plows, to be honest. And they're probably brought in some things to blow apart on the nicest, which isn't really great for us. I honestly don't know if we like the Frost Augurs aren't great. They're kind of slow and grindy, but this is going to be a slow and grindy matchup. They are a creature matchup. We should probably be respecting that, but I don't want to board out our snow permanents though. Boarding with this deck is pretty tricky. Maybe it's the forces go. We remove 3 forces for 3 plows because we don't really want to 2-for-1 ourselves too much if we can avoid it. Having 1 in there is not too bad. Yeah, they're probably running like we didn't see any Stoneforge stuff, but I wouldn't be surprised if they have it. So maybe we're boarding a couple of Force of Vigors. We don't want to be left with 1 if we don't need 1 though. It's tricky to know if we want this or the 3rd Loam. I think we'll have the 3rd Loam and then we can reappraise in game 3. It's Thoughtseize proof. It makes a 2020 on turn 4. Like, against a slow matchup, I think this is fine, weirdly. We're going to get the value off of the old Thoughtseize here. Ah, it's just going to be a vial, isn't it? Yeah, sure. I guess we're playing our come to play tap lands first. Maybe we should have played the Misty Rainforest to get a blue come to play tap land so that we can cast a Brainstorm if we draw one. But this way, I'll get the blue-green one, yeah, because we can cast either of our drops next turn. I think that's probably better. Okay, so they haven't, because they're Espeval, they don't really have that many ways of interacting with our mana base as much, and they're less likely to have a Caracas in play because they're not running 4 of them. A Glacial Revelation is interesting to me. We can pop that next turn if we want to, but I think for this turn we're just playing the Misty Rainforest, getting a tap land out of our deck. Now this is where it starts getting a problem because the vial's going to be ticking up to a good number here. Recruiter of the Guard. So this can go and get Stoneforge Mystic, which they can immediately put in. Which is not going to be great for us. I imagine the thing they're getting is just going to jump straight into play. Okay, Charming Prince. They're just going to do this, draw another card off of the Recruiter. So they're just doing this as a tempo play to get some damage on the board. It seems fine. Torpor Orb would be very nice against our opponent, but we do not have a Torpor. Right, let's crack this. Let's get a tap land. Doesn't matter which one. I think we just want the blue-green one because we are a base blue-green deck. Do we even want to cast Glacial Revelation? Maybe? We've got a lot of cards in hand. So we're probably going to end up discarding some cards this turn. But let's see what we find. Okay, so our hand's just got a whole load of goodies. So we've got 11 cards in hand. Some of these are going to have to get discarded. And that is fine. Okay, so clean up. We're getting rid of some of our things that don't give us a lot of business. We want to protect our life total, I think. So we need to get rid of one more card. We've already got blue here, blue, white. Do we need another white source? We do have 2 white things here to do. And do we want forest? Or is it just the basic island? We kind of want all of these, is the problem. My diamond shoes are too tight. It's either the island or it's island, forest, or plains. One of the basics goes here. I think it's probably forest. We're not looking to cast 2 green spells in a turn, are we? So that was like just a weird thing where we got to throw away a load of bad cards and get a load of really good cards. So our opponent's vial's ticking up. So Flicker Wisp is going to become an issue for us because it can just blink away our guy when we make it. So not a fan of that. That Glacial Revelation looked pretty good though. Meddling Mage. Okay, so this is going to name On Thin Ice because they've seen us put 2 of them into our hand. Yeah, so there we go. Little bit awkward. Okay, just playing this now. Interesting. A Soul Herder. So this is the one that blinks something every turn, isn't it? So this is going to bury us very quickly in card advantage. And it's not just card advantage, it's specific things that are going to be good against us. So, Solitude. Okay. If I were them, I'd probably get a Flicker Wisp, but that means they probably already have a Flicker Wisp. So not a great time to be me, I wouldn't say. Let's see what our opponent does here. Like, we can make a 20/20 and gain ourselves 20 life, and then we can life from Loam it back and sort of work it out a couple of turns, or we can play out an Ice-Fang and try and kill off the Soul Herder if it attacks. Okay, so I have a Wasteland now. Less than perfect. It's going to be a little bit hard for us to beat this. We might just be scooping this one and going to game 3 because we look like we're pretty far behind and we don't want to waste our clock. We're casting this guy. So, green, blue. If we can find ourselves a Source of Plowshares in this turn cycle, that's not terrible. We don't really want to exile our... I think if we can help it. Guess we block this and at least get rid of the Recruiter so they can't keep blinking that one. I guess there's some of their ability to draw cards. Now, they can wasteland us here now. We're sort of tapped out if they want to. Recruiter of the Guard. Okay, they've got another one. Sure. So if my top card of my library isn't Source of Plowshares, I'm going to concede the game. Because I don't think I can grind through this incredible late game that our opponent has assembled. Now, I could try and like spend time shaving time off their clock, but that's going to cost us time on our clock a little bit as well. And I just want to have enough time to actually win a game of Magic. Top card of my library. Is it Source of Plowshares? It is not. Okay, we might as well concede. I think it's just going to take too long to do anything, and our chances of winning are very low. Okay, so I think we do want these Force of Vigors here. And probably looking at trimming a Loam and a Slumber for them. Yeah, that seems fine to me. This opening hand is alright. We can make a Marit Lage Slumber into Glacial Revelation and try and bury our opponent with lots and lots of card draw there. Hopefully... Oh, our opponent's mulliganed to 5 cards. We might be able to sneak a little win here. Now, they might have just mulliganed to something really, really good, rather than just trying to get a keepable hand. Although Espeval is a deck that has a lot of keepable hands, so I have to imagine that they just got unlucky and had to mull to 5. But that's by no means going to win us the game. But it does give us a little bit more of a helping hand, which is something we very much need. Okay, so let's get this one on the go. Slumber time. What is on the top of our library? I do not want this. On the bottom you go. This is kind of like our own little search for Azcana that we've made here, which is, you know, fringe legacy play. It hasn't been for a little while, but for a while it was seeing a lot of play. What have we got? A Source of Plowshares. This is one I like. I think, do we need to fire it off now? Right, let's play this first and see what happens with this. This can go on the bottom of our library. Chances of us having to discard too many cards is very low here. Statistically, it's going to hit us usually like about 3 cards. Ooh, Force of Negation, pitching a Brainstorm. That's pretty good. So that hasn't hit our Life from the Loam, which is important, because that's one that the actual negation clause or exiles it is a big deal. Now, it's a little bit upsetting to not get our Glacial Revelation, but interesting our opponents respected it so much. Okay, they've put Yoran into their hand. Let's see what we can find this turn. Thespian stage. So this isn't a snow permanent, and we're kind of in the need to scry for snow permanent stage of the game here. I'm going to play this. We're going to crack it, get one of our commons to play tap lands. Probably just the... We do have another green source in hand, actually, so probably the blue-white one, actually. See what we get on top. A Flooded Strand. We don't want that. And I don't know if we want to play this Life from the Loam now. I think we'd rather keep it in case we need it to pitch to something in desperate plea, and if our opponent has any sort of graveyard interaction, we'd at least like to get, you know, several things out of our Life from the Loam. Just making it draw 1 card I don't think is worth it right now. Frost Augur. Let's see if this guy gets any answers from our opponent. So this is going to scry us again because it's a snow permanent. Do we want this on top of our library? Not really, to be honest. Although we can draw it in our upkeep, so we can leave it on top of our library and then immediately draw it. I don't hate that, actually. But then if our guy gets killed for some reason, we're going to feel a little bit annoyed about that. I think we put this into play, and then the reason we're casting the Loam here is because if this gets killed, we can at least mill off that card that we don't want on top of our library right now. So we've kind of got that a little bit covered. And then our upkeep, we can draw that card that's on top of our library. The little Frost Augur that could, hopefully. We're not a million snow permanents away here. The Thespian stage can become a snow permanent at will as well. I wish it was snow permanents on the battlefield. That'd be way better. We'd be just about there by now. Is this just going to be the Orion here? Sure. Let's just snap this off, get rid of it straight away. No messing about. Sure. We will not take a replacement effect now. Okay, this is a good one. So we can... If we play out this land, then we get to turn our Thespian stage into a snow land. Okay, I will leave that on top of my library. So, yeah, so we get to play out the Ice-Fang, and we also get to turn the Thespian stage into a dual land that is a snow type. So then we'll have 9 snow permanents, so we can try and get the Marit Lage Slumber off. I have to imagine our opponent has an answer in hand. This is green, sorry, blue, green. Cast this. We know what top card is, we know we want it, so we draw it, stack them this way, so we can draw the card we want, and then we get a scry as well. Exploration. That is pretty good with Life from the Loam. I will leave this on top of my library. I will not do my replacement effect. Okay, so we have 8 snow. Oh, we forgot to do the Thespian stage copy, didn't we? That was foolish of me. But we do get to go Exploration into Dark Depths. Let's see what we got on top. Brainstorm. Or do we like a Brainstorm? I'll leave this on top. And we can play out our Rimewood Falls. So we have 10 snow permanents here. We get to make a 2020 soon. We will leave this on top of our library. Because I think our opponent's got the Source of Plowshares, I'm going to let this one pop, I think. And also, you know, we came here to Marit Lage's Slumber. Okay, another land from our opponent. So if we make the 2020 now... Yeah, so we're going to make the Marit Lage's Slumber one because, you know, that's what we came here to do, right? We don't... Well, now we want to draw this Brainstorm on top of our library. And then we can play this one out. We can go to attacks. And we can attack with just the 1/1, isn't it? Because this guy's summoning sick for a turn. But maybe we'll get ourselves 20 life. And if not, we get ourselves another 20/20. Okay. So our opponent could be hard casting a Solitude. We don't have Force of Will in our deck anymore, which is relatively important to note. A Gilded Drake. Interesting. We're doing this again. I think we'll cast our Brainstorm first. And we'll not use our replacement effect. We don't really want another Exploration, do we? So this can go on top of our library. And this can go on top of our library. And then we'll dredge the Life from the Loam next turn. Okay. It's a little bit awkward for us, but we do get to make the 2020 now. Gilded Drake. Gilded Drake. What a guy. Fun times. Recruiter of the Guard has entered the reveal card set. Yeah, they're just chaining recruiters here. Okay, so we're going to crack this one. Ourselves a land. Once we get snow covered here, we're going to activate this guy. See what top card of our library is. And then we will make our own 2020. It's our turn. We will dredge the life from Loam this time. We don't want the exploration on top of our library really. And we want to be able to do some good stuff. So I think first we go green, green, blue. Wait, no, we probably want to use 2 blue for this. Let's cast this. See if we can find an on thin ice. We did not find an on thin ice here. We did find some good cards. So this turn we are casting this for Dark Depths, Thespian Stage, and still have the basic planes in our deck, so we can go and get the Prismatic Vista here. And okay, our clock is running down here. Okay, so we play out a Thespian Stage, play out Dark Depths, and then we pass the turn. There's no point attacking the 2020s into this. At least I can block here. And yeah, so if they can blink the Gilded Drake, that's going to be pretty less than good for us. This is like a Recruiter of the Guard. This can get any selection of scary things off. But we've got a few blocks in the way because we've got this Ice-Fang as well. There's no on thin ice or Source of Plowshare. Source of Plowshare is obviously less good against the 2020. So this is a Plague Engineer which can name Snake, which is going to be less than good for us. So there's a Plague Engineer. So our snakes just cantrip now. They're just 2 mana, draw a card. Sure. An Ether Vial. Don't care too much about that. I think it's still worth casting this just to draw a card though. We need to find the on thin ice. That's how we win this game. Another snake. Okay. Another Thespian Stage. Okay, I guess we're playing out this Augur first. Then we do play out this snake. Do we find an on thin ice? We did not find an on thin ice. Okay, what about this guy? Is this guy going to find us an on thin ice? Okay, so it's a plow if we want that. So we can play this one out and play this one out. So we can make 2020s for days, but we can't punch through just yet. But the plow we have means we can try and 2-turn them with our Marit Lage. Ideally, we would like to find the on thin ice. We've got 3 minutes, so we should be okay for this, I hope. Another Marit Lage Slumber can make us a 2020 if we want it. So this can copy this. We don't really have enough time to be messing around with this, but here we are. So we get the plow here. Our opponent has 1 card in hand. I think we have a look at the top card of our library. Is it snow? It's not snow. Okay, but it's a good card for finding snow stuff. Do we plow and then hit for 20? I think we do. Okay, so we can make a 2020 our opponent's end step anyway. I don't think we have any others to fetch, so we're not going to bother playing out our land here. We're going to save it to make our Brainstorm better. Opponent's on 0 cards. We're top decking either 2020s, which is a 2-turn clock. I'm trying to bait me into a Flicker Wisp here. No. Okay, this can copy this. Make 2020. Opponent's got 1 card in hand. It's back to us. We're drawing a Brainstorm. We don't need to draw these. Go to attacks. Get bash in. We play his Dark Depths out, so we got a spare one. Okay, our opponent's got one turn. I do have a Brainstorm which I can use for various things. So here's hoping. So this going up to 3 can be an issue for us. Come on. Yeah! We got there. Excellent. We managed to make a 2020 with Marit Lage Slumber, which is something I wanted to do. We actually managed to grind a game out, and it felt pretty good. The Frost Augurs, yeah. I'm flabbergasted that we've got 2 wins already. And that felt like a proper one, whereas the first one that we won felt like our opponent didn't really have a full grip of what their deck was doing. But yeah, so that's pretty sweet. We are now 2-1. All right, this is our opening hand. We are on the draw for this game. We have removal, we have cantrips, we have life from Loam for card advantage, we have half of our combo. Now this is the easier half of the combo to find for our deck, but life from Loam does make that a bit easier. So I think we're obliged to keep this one. Now we can just get stomped by something if we don't have a Force of Will, but such is life sometimes. I don't think you can throw back this hand when you don't know what your opponent's playing. Okay, our opponent's mulligan to 5, which makes me think probably like Initiative or Reanimator. I don't think it's Oops because they're only a 60 card deck. So we'll see what this looks like. Ancient Tomb. Chalice. Yeah, okay, so that's going to shut down our Brainstorms and our On Thin Ice. So our hand is looking a lot worse now. Oh joy. Marit Lage's Slumber though. I think we play out the Vista here. Just in case they have some sort of Archon or something. Or no, that's not really going to impact this. I just think it's best to play out the Vista here. Because it represents more things. Whereas the Forest kind of We'll make them not play around counter magic that we want them to. Okay. Not as if counter magic is going to matter anyway. So this is probably... Oh, for human. So they're not going to be able to cast the white plume this turn. So we've probably got another turn before we get in real trouble. So I think this goes and gets us a basic island. And then we cast the card that can hopefully make us a 2020, but probably not for a while. We can't have 1-drops right now. We're going to need to bring in our Force of Vigors for this matchup, I think. Okay, so it looks like red-white initiative. So this is going to be the Chaos... Yeah, Chaos Adventure, sure. All right, third initiative game. Yeah, third match in 4 games so far. All right. Not sure if we're beating this, but we'll see. Life of Loam doesn't do anything for us. We kind of just need to find ourselves the ability to make a 2020, which means we're playing out the Dark Depths now. This gives us a scry, and it also means if we top deck a next turn, we can make the 2020 and win the game. Or at least have a shout at winning the game. Our opponent won't be able to sort of plowshares us, and they only have 1 card right now, so Solitude's off the table for this minute. Now, we don't have a long time, because this is a 7-5 bashing us. And then next turn, we'll take another 5. So we will die next turn. It's quite the clock. This looks like a season dungeon here. Another Chaos Adventure. Okay, so we are definitely dead next turn. So if we do not find the Thespian stage on top of our library next turn, we will lose the game. Alrighty then. And even then, we still might lose the game. 2020s, turn 4 2020 might not be enough. Let's see if we can get lucky. Thespian stage on top of our deck, please. Was not a Thespian stage. We're done here. Okay, so cards I would like in this matchup. Force of Vigor, Swords to Plowshares. Potentially some of these things, because we can't really beat a Chalice on 0 very easily, but I guess the Force of Vigor has that covered, so... And we can draw that after the fact. I don't think we have time to be Life from the Loaming around, and that probably means we don't have time to be Marit Lage's Slumbering either. And that is a pretty clean 3-3 cut. 4, 8, 12, 16 is not a lot of blue cards for a Force of Will though. That's like the very, very bare minimum. We can't really cut green cards because we need them for Force of Vigor potentially as well. Alright, we're going to have to get a little bit lucky. But okay, we can keep this, I think. We have the Force of Vigor. We have the Death Touch guy for the Chaos Adventurer. Now, it might not have Death Touch when it first comes into play, depending on how we're set up at the time. So we could always use it to steal the initiative instead. So I think on turn 1, we're probably looking at just having access to Brainstorm if we need it. So we're going to get this Prismatic Vista out because this basically gets all of our lands. So we'll see. Now, it might prove a little bit challenging to cast Swords to Plowshares here. So this is going to be the Chalice. We don't care about that, that's fine. We're going to Force of Vigor that when the time comes. On thin ice. Sure. So we're going to try and get ourselves a 2-1 with the Force of Vigor this turn. But we'll see how that pans out. Also, we might have a bit of a better idea of what mana we're going to need. We see what our opponent is up to. Orcs. This is the White Plume Adventurer. This is a little bit awkward. So what we could do here is we could play the snake and hope to hit a green card to Force of Vigor by stealing the initiative that way. I don't think that's a good plan though. We can't just let them tick up with initiative either. We kind of need to do multiple things here. I think we need to just hit this. 2-for-1 ourselves is a bit harsh here. So this can go and get us just a regular island for Brainstorm purposes. And then we can crack this for a come into play tap land. Okay, so we found the other half of our combo. So that's good. So we probably put the plow and snow-covered plains on top. And we'll crack this and we'll get a come into play tap land. So we're probably getting the green-white one here. We should be doing this at our opponent's end of turn, but getting a little bit lax because they've played all their bits and pieces out. Okay, so we play out this Thespian stage. And we cast this, tagging this, playing white. Yep, I would like to exile their White Plume. So this will send them down the scry route probably. And next time we can make a 2020. And if something really weird happens, we might have to pivot and do this on thin ice for a turn instead. 2 on the bottom, so that's good news for us. So we might be able to steal this one. I say steal this one, we work for it pretty well. We can use our sideboard cards. Oh no! Caracas. I don't think I can beat Caracas. Our deck is poorly built and can't beat Caracas. Oh yikes. How are we gonna do this game? I guess we play this out. Hope our opponent messes up maybe. That's the level of how screwed we are. I knew it was going to be one of the things we were cold to when we were doing it because we didn't have the Wasteland package in. As I mentioned, we just have mana, so we can get unstuck a little bit. But yeah, this might be us here, unfortunately. Go on, tap your Caracas. Be a friend. Oh my god, they've tapped their Caracas. What are they doing? They've tapped their Caracas. They've given us a shot. Now, they might just have a Source of Plowshares in hand. But you still want to have the Caracas go, I think. They've given me some false hope here. It might be real hope. We'll see. Opponent looks pretty F6'd here. Can I have 20 damage, please? Yeah, our opponent misplayed. Woo! That's how you beat Caracas, I guess. Jesus Christ. So we didn't deserve to win that game. Against a more competent player, we lose. But that makes me think that our opponent doesn't know Caracas bounces are 2020. In which case, we might still be able to win the game. So... Oh, we got these forces still out in our deck, actually, haven't we? So we got these... They don't stop Caracas, obviously, but they... That's our turn 0. I'm just deciding if we need more turn 0 in terms of the Force of Negations on the draw. I think it's better just to have the Revelations after the fact. If I could play a 5th Force of Will, I would. But I don't think I'll play the Force of Negation. Okay, so this blows up the Chalice, makes a guy, and then makes the thingy. So our opponent has mulligan to 6. We're going to keep this. We can blow up our opponent's mana. We can kill their guy. That's something. Okay. White Plume Adventurer. Sure. So we can kill this guy. But this is kind of undoing our opponent's mulligan a little bit, as the initiative tends to do. Now, we might not get any use out of these Force of Vigors, which would be annoying, but our removal spells mean that we have to keep them. All right. So, yep, no more White Plume Adventurer. Our turn. Or their turn, sorry. And then, hopefully, we can draw into a Thespian stage, and they won't have Caracas, and we can kill them. Now, they're a red-white initiative, so they probably only have 2 Caracas at most. Might just be a singleton. So we might be able to dodge it. Okay, so Scryed, 1 top, 1 bottom. So they probably have another threat here. Because that's what you'd be looking for, I would imagine. No. Interesting. Unless it's just a Seasoned Dungeoneer. So we probably want to use our fetch lands to get some counterplay tap lands out of the way. And then next turn we probably play the Dark Depths in case we draw the Thespian stage. Because every turn counts. Okay, so we've got Stash going over there. So they can definitely cast a Seasoned Dungeoneer this turn if they have it. Now we could have blown this up. But if they have another land, we're going to look silly of blowing up the treasure token. Yep, so there's a Seasoned Dungeoneer, sure. So they're getting themselves a Skeleton. No more little skeleton. Oh, okay. So they're representing maybe 8 damage. So we do need to go a little bit quick here. So we're probably getting the Rimewood Falls here, because that's our other 2 colours. And let's see if we can draw a Thespian stage. Did not draw a Thespian stage. So we have to play out our Dark Depths. We'll play out the old art one, I think. This is so that if we draw the Thespian stage next turn, we can at least make a 2020, because that might be the last turn of the game. So, again, I don't think it's worth blowing up the treasure token, because they don't really do 5 drops. Whereas, if there's something like a... okay, so they're getting this off of the... What's it called? The Undercity. So how much are we taking this turn? If we take 8 this turn, we take 8 next turn. No, we take 8. We take 10 next turn. Okay, so we need this Dungeoneer not to explore properly. That would be good for us. Although if they play another threat, then I think we might just be... How are we looking here? This looks like the Caves of Chaos Adventurer. Yeah, sure. So we are dead here. I don't think we can beat this. Yeah, so we got these 2 cards just burning a heart. I did say they're definitely cards that could end up doing nothing. But the problem is Chalice is very strong against our deck with like Brainstorms, all our removal spell being 1 manas, and Frost Augur and stuff like that. So we kind of have to... We're forced into playing Force of Vigor against these decks. But well, especially the red-white one. The white one tends to will tend to board out the chalices. So they can board in all their removal spells for us. All right. What miraculous card that isn't in our deck can we draw? A Brainstorm. Let's have a look. I'm pretty sure there's nothing we can have here. We can play this. This is going to be unblockable this turn. I don't think we can win this game. I think we have to pack it in, I'm afraid. So... It's a shame. Like, we shouldn't have won the second game. We only won the second game because our opponent didn't know that Caracas could bounce the Marit Lage token, I guess. So we were a bit lucky to get a third game out of it. Like, I think initiative is ridiculously strong. So it's no shame to lose to it. It'd be nice to play something else. But there we go. So we are 2-2 now going into the final round. So maybe we can get our money back with Snow Depths. This is a turn 2 2020. Dawson's Creep, I've played them before and they played Elves. Looks like they are still on Elves, sure. Now this looks more like Newton Elves because they've got the Lanor Elf here. So Wasteland is a thing that our opponent can actually have against us. So is a turn 2 2020 going to be good enough here? Let's find out. We don't need to actually expose our pieces till next turn anyway. So we're probably making the 2020 in our turn. Or in our opponent's upkeep, depending on what our opponent does this turn. Because they can have wastelands in their deck, because they're an Elvish Reclaimer deck. They usually run 1 or 2 wastelands. There's things to find with the Reclaimer. Now they also run Karakas. So you know how I feel about that. This deck needs a wasteland is what I've decided there. Also, the Tropical Island hasn't really come up, so maybe that could be a wasteland. Okay, an Elvish Visionary. Our opponent didn't play land, which means they're probably waiting for Cradle. Okay, because if they had Cradle, they could draw some more stuff. So now it's on us, and we play this out, and we make it now to dodge wasteland. Like, we can't dodge Karakas anyway, so I don't think we should bother playing around it. If this doesn't work for some reason, we do get to rebuy it next turn with Swords to Plowshare. Life from the Loam. So we have an option there. Okay, our friend's got a Dryad Arbor. So they could go for like a big natural order here. I'm trying to think if they have a natural... So they could natural order for Endurance, or they could just hold back and cast Endurance. Okay, so they scooped up. The turn 2 2020 was good enough, which is... I think I remember to mention that you can just get the turn 2 2020s off of Exploration in the deck tech, but that was a long time ago now, so I can't quite remember. All right, sideboarding. Elves. Swords to Plowshares. We want to blow up their things. Force of Negation is okay because it hits natural order, but is okay good enough. I don't think we're going to have time for Life from Loam and Marit Lage's Slumber too much, but the scrying on it's nice. I don't think I want a Force of Negation here, even though I am a little bit scared of natural order. Maybe we play 1 and bin off a Glacial Revelation. Let's try that. This is for the dignity of December. Can we get a positive record with Snow Depths? So we can't keep this because we can't cast our spells. Yeah, I'll keep this one. It's a little bit awkward. You can keep this. So we want removal spells. The Ice-Fangs are pretty good. We're kind of in a weird bind here because we want to be able to cast our Swords to Plowshares, but we also want to be able to cast our Ice-Fangs, which means we might be like turn 1 Misty Rainforest, get a tap land. The question is, we could just keep the Exploration and try and go for turn 2 hand. I think we probably just get rid of the Ice-Fang here and see how we do. So we've got 2 options here. Our opponent's played an elf. Okay. Nettle Sentinel, sure. Okay, so you know what the plan is here, right? Easy peasy. We go and get ourselves a snow-covered forest. We cast ourselves an Exploration. We play ourselves a snow-covered island. We pass the turn and we make a turn 2 2020. Now that might not be good enough on the draw because Elves is a very explosive deck with a lot of power to do all sorts of things. So they're going to get 2 damage in here because it's free and because it's untapped when they cast a green thing. Okay. Have they got Cradle to follow this up and deploy a 2-drop? They're just deploying another 1-drop. Aquarion Ranger, sure. So here we go again. Again, we are playing around Wasteland. We can't play around Karakas anyway. Is this going to do enough? Our opponent's got a turn. If they deploy a guy with reach, we might be able to plow out of the way, but it will take us 2 turns to kill them, which might not be enough. Because 20 life or doing the 3-4, it's much of a muchness, really. We probably hold back the plow for a specific creature, like something that's going to kill us rather than clearing a blocker. Wirewood Symbiote, sure. So our opponent is on the let's try and go off this turn mode, I think. So they're generating some mana to cast a natural order this turn. Is that good enough to kill us? We soak up the big one. Those 2 hit us. So I don't think natural order is good enough to kill us this turn. Unless they have another creature they can get that I can't think of. But Crater Hoof Behemoth doesn't quite kill us. This soaks up the Crater Hoof Behemoth. And then I take 5, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I think we're more or less okay. Because this can't attack this turn because they've already used the... They already used the Wirewood Symbiote? They haven't used the Wirewood Symbiote. Oh, I can scroll up and have a look. No, I don't think they have actually. Okay, they're just casting a Nettle Sentinel. Interesting. Okay. So now if they cast a natural order... Right, so they're playing some elves out. Let's just see what happens. Like, the fates... Like, I've done my thing. It's in my opponent's hands now. Natural order. Okay. I don't think this is lethal. If it's a Crater Hoof. Unless my math is really wrong. Especially with this guy tapped. Oh, sweet. We got the 3-2 with Snow Depths. Alright, I am very happy about that, to be honest with you. Let's have a quick look at the deck and chat. So, this was the deck, and somehow we muddled through. So the Elves decks, we just did the classic Exploration on turn 1, 2020 on turn 2. We just done that 2 games in a row and won. So we got a bit lucky on that one, but it's in the deck for that reason. That's why we're playing the Exploration there. So, and we did want to keep a hand that had sort of access to doing that sort of thing. So that's good. We beat an initiative player, which I don't think we do win that matchup. I think our opponent just made mistakes and let us win through unfamiliarity with the deck or something like that, perhaps, like keeping bad hands. So, you know, maybe a 2-3 is a little bit more of a reasonable record of what this deck actually achieved. But we got our money back, and I'm going to take that. So I'm pretty happy with how that panned out. And in terms of how the actual deck functions, so we had that really grindy matchup where against the Espeval, where Marit Lage's Slumber did loads of work. It was basically like a turbo search for Azcanta, like the front side, because we were scrying once or twice every turn. And then instead of getting like a land that impulses every turn at the end of it, you get a 20-20. So that's pretty cool. So I was actually quite impressed with Marit Lage's Slumber, considering I was expecting it to be just completely unplayable garbage. I was like, it's blue, it pitches Force of Will. If we get lucky, we'll make a thing one time. But we actually ground some decent value with it. The Frost Augurs, you know, one of them got an immediate source to Plowshares, and the other one did draw us a card and did some stuff. So it was okay. You know, it was a blue card that had snow written on it that actually did some stuff. So that's about all we could ask for it. The Glacial Revelations were pretty good. I think they drew us 2 to 5 cards, which is a lot. And I think that's pretty impressive. It should be noted that it says snow permanent. So there are some snow spells that you can't get with it, which is why we went for this sort of configuration as well as the Marit Lage Slumber. But Glacial Revelation felt like a proper draw engine, especially with the way that it drops the cards in the graveyard. So your things like your Life from the Loam and your Thespian stage then become part of an accessible zone instead of just being in your library or whatever. So that was quite nice. Force of Wills, you know, we don't have to talk about the other cards in here. The On Thin Ice was basically just, because we didn't play against any decks that were blowing it up, it was just a better source to Plowshares for us because it didn't affect their life total, so one hit was still enough. So that was really sweet. The Ice-Fangs, having these come into play and scrying before you draw was really cool. And we managed to do some blocks. We played a little poorly in one of the initiative games. I sort of was thinking ahead too many steps and not concentrating on what I was doing at the time properly, if I'm being honest. But yeah, the Ice-Fangs pretty good. What else we got going on here? So one of the problems was we basically can't beat Caracas. Now, there are ways we can address that. We can either play additional threats or we can play ways of blowing up Caracas. Now, considering that we are, or we can play like Pithy Needles as well, which is effectively like blowing up because it cancels out its effect. But considering we are a Life from the Loam deck, we should probably be playing at least a wasteland in here, just so we have something we can find, especially since we're digging with these cards, might be able to find it. So this Tropical Island, I think, only came up once. And whilst our coming to play tap plans were a little bit awkward, maybe this could just be a wasteland. Now, wasteland doesn't really cast our spells apart from Life from the Loam and Marit Lage's Slumber. I guess it can cast Glacial Revelation as well, but it mainly isn't really casting anything. So the wasteland will be a big loss in terms of the spells that we can cast because of Tropical Island. So that's something to think about. Obviously, whether or not you want to play this deck is entirely up to you. I'm telling you now, this isn't a good deck. But it is way better than I thought it was going to be. I thought we were going to struggle to win a round. I thought we'd pick up some games, but maybe get a round in. But we got 3. We got a positive record, and I'm still absolutely blown away by that. So we could also shore up the sideboard with things like Pithing Needles, if that's a thing you want to have access to, which can shut down either Caracas or Wasteland. So that would be quite useful utility, and it's a really common thing in a lot of depth decks. So we have that option. You could even run some more lands and have like as a Saga type package in there. But then eventually you're going to keep doing that, and you're going to realize that, hold on, we're just going to end up playing regular lands here. And, you know, the fun thing here is that we're playing all these icy things. Now, at the top of the recording today, I said that I thought about running a bug version with like the spell that does -X to all creatures, which I think is pretty reasonable if you're running exploration, but it's going to look a bit bad if you don't have the exploration in hand. So that's something to think about. You can always run something like Growth Spiral because it pitches to all your pitch spells. You could run something like that in addition to the explorations, just so you're more likely to get above, because so many of the creatures in Legacy are going to have power and toughness above the 3 that you're spending your mana on to cast it. And if you've got a Thespian stage in there, then you're only doing it for 2, so it's a bit awkward. Then there's also the 6 mana black spell, which is Blood on the Snow, which wipes the board and then brings you something back. Now, 6 mana feels like a lot, so I don't really think that's a realistic goal either. So I think this was the correct configuration. And we did really need to have these on Thin Ices. They were good, they were important, and I don't think you can really play this deck without them. Like, there are blue-green decks out there, so they're, they don't really have much removal and they're just trying to combo. So maybe you could sort of try and go down that route if you wanted to play this deck more. But then these are also snow permanents, so they really help with this. So you could play like a more of like a generic-y green lands strategy with like Uros and things, and you could run the snow tutor that I mentioned before, which can find the Uro if you want it, as well as finding your Caracas or a few other like little silvery bullets that you wanted to put in. So that's another way you could approach this deck. But honestly, this was a bit of fun. This was the last day of December, and I wanted to do something really weird. I was sort of toying around with trying to play Theps, which is the Dark Depths Thopter Foundry combo that was from Extended years ago. That was really good. I was trying to sort of bring that into Legacy, but the problem is the tools in Legacy are so different to what was in Extended then that it just doesn't really port very effectively. If someone could think of a really good way of porting it, by all means send it to me and I'll play it. But I was thinking about playing that, but then I settled on trying to Marit Lage Slumber someone, because what better way to finish 2020 month, like trying 2020 people for a month, than having additional cards that do that. And we did it. We did it on camera. We got a Marit Lage Slumber into play, and we managed to get all the way up to 10 permanents and get a 2020 off of it. So, I'm happy. As you can probably tell, I'm very happy with how that went. Sideboard wise, yeah, like these were just like, these are some tools I want. Let's see how they go. We could probably tweak these a bit more. I'm not sure if you could put all your wastelands and things in there if you wanted to, and your pithing needles. You could try and find different ways of removing things. I couldn't find a really great way of dealing with our opponents' initiative things. It's not like we have something like Virtue's Ruin that can just like wipe the board. So we could play like one of these ones that kills all big creatures, but then that might miss some stuff, and also certain draws from the initiative would just go under it. And also it was a 1 white spell, and I don't think you can cast that, whereas Virtue's Ruin, if you're in a black build, is not more reasonable. Maybe you could try and play some, like one of the original builds I had was 4-color, using things like Cold Steel Heart to add a permanent and ramp you and stuff like that. So maybe you could try and look at doing something like that, and just having a more basic heavy mana base that way, and relying on Prismatic Vistas a bit higher that way, so your lands don't come into play tapped, but you are playing things like Into the North and Cold Steel Heart. But obviously these cards aren't very good, and taking your turn 2 off to like not really do anything to the board is difficult. Like, we did that with Marit Lage Slumber sometimes, but it's a difficult thing to do in Legacy, especially at the moment, because it's a very aggressive format, and more aggressive than it's been for a long time, in my opinion. Anyway, we are done. So this is the last video I'm recording for the year, so I hope you've been enjoying my content, and I'm hoping that next year I can keep making more content. We're going to go back to doing 5 videos a week for the first week of January and carry on like that. And if you know anyone who's interested in Legacy, please send them my stuff. And why not send them this video? This is a ridiculous video. Why wouldn't people want to see this? And I need as many subscribers as I can get. I need to hit 1,000 to get monetized. And it'd be really nice to be able to pick up a little bit of cash doing this, because it takes a lot of my time and effort. So it'd be nice to get a little something back from it. All right, I think we're done for today. I hope you've enjoyed the Snow Depths, and I hope you've enjoyed Depth December. And we will be doing it next year, as long as I'm still making videos then, which I hope to be. So make sure you subscribe and stick around for it. Likes, comments also welcome. Thank you very much, and have a happy New Year's. Goodbye.